AI is changing how we talk, and it's not good.
Yeah, and according to Kaila, I now sound like AI,
No.
which is completely false.
That's not exactly what I said. Let's get into it. Kyle, something's really pissed me off.
All right, let me hear it, Kaila. Here we go.
I am so sick and tired of people talking to me like I'm a fucking chatbot.
Okay, break this down for us.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So when people are using AI for communications,
Yeah.
which many people do,
Yeah.
fine.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
We can tell.
We often talk about, we can. We often talk about the output, but we're not talking enough about the input, which is if you're constantly prompting AI to do stuff, your number one communication, the thing that you're practicing the most is AI prompting.
Yeah.
So the type of communication that you're getting used to is how to get the most out of AI. But then you can't turn around and talk to me like I'm Claude. I'm not Claude. I'm Kaila.
So people are slacking you like, Kaila, build me a brief. Make no mistakes.
Think deeply. Like, obviously not like that.
Try
but yes.
again, but harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you forget how to talk to an actual human. So you're either speaking to me like I'm the AI that you're trying to get something out of, which, first of all, very ineffective way to get me to do anything.
Yeah.
Or you're speaking to me like you're the AI and you've just copy and pasted something that Claude said to me.
You really have. I've not experienced the people talking to me like I'm AI personally. You have people messaging you like using the language they would normally use talking to a chatbot?
Yes.
So it's like what? Just like extremely direct and rude or something?
So
Okay.
to be clear, I feel so strongly about this that I had to actually type out all of my notes and print them out on.
My girl got a flow chart.
I have a flow chart. No, I don't. But I do have a lot. So I was thinking about this. I actually did some research. I was Googling like, what are the tips for getting the most out of AI?
Prompt engineering.
For prompt engineering. So I started looking and it's the exact stuff that you use to prompt now is being used to me is super annoying. So, okay, here it is. Provide deep context and explicit instructions. Think deeply and make no mistakes. Obviously, nobody is texting me, think deeply and make no mistakes. But it's that directness in the communication that I have noticed a marked shift
Okay.
from people who are using AI a ton.
Very interesting.
Answer in this format. Give me bullet points. Obviously, no one is messaging me, give me bullet points. But the expectation is I want this in the way I want it. I'm now used to asking for specific, exact context, how I want my answer formatted. So if I'm not giving that exact thing, I'm getting pushback.
Counterpoint here is that bad? Like I get not wanting to feel like an AI chatbot. I'm with you on that. But if AI disappeared, we never invented it. Life was much more peaceful. We were still going to Best Buy, Kaila. The dream of the 90s was still alive. But people were talking to you like this, saying, just being very clear in what they expect from you.
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad if someone was like, I want it in bullet points and providing you content? That sounds like the dream.
If somebody messaged me and
want
said,
information that's clear, has context, and is telling me what exactly they expect instead of, could you do this thing that's so broad and vague, and then you provide them something and they're like, not like that. And you're like, you never told me.
no, 100%. There's a difference though between being clear in an ask
Okay.
and speaking to me like I'm an AI or prompting me. The difference is if somebody said to me, hey, what can you give me, 3 bullet points, the 3 headlines about the event strategy you're working on, totally fine. If you say, I need the event strategy and give me 3 bullet points, that shift, how you would speak to an AI, pisses me off.
I see. It's not approaching you like you're a human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think because now there's so much interaction with AI and there's so much communication, we're literally training people how to prompt AI appropriately. Of course, when you're formatting a Slack, the first thing in your brain is going to be, well, what's the context that I know how to type in? It's to Claude. And it is getting so fucking annoying. I'm not saying I need you to butter me up before asking me to do something. But it's like, normally I'm senior enough in my career where it's a conversation.
You will treat me with respect.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone should treat everyone with respect. But what I've noticed, and I don't think people are talking about this a lot, but I've noticed it and I think it's subtle.
Yeah.
But the shift in communicating with others, it's less of a conversation and more of an ask.
Okay. This is interesting. Are people, I'm gonna be sad if you're like, and this is about you, Kyle. So you could just rip the Band-Aid off if it's about me.
It's not about you.
What? Kayla, you think I'm talking to you like this?
I have
Kayla,
I have noticed.
Wow, are you kidding me?
You might have.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay.
I don't believe this theory at all. Then
Yeah, right. I know you don't. But no. So
I don't
you
even.
don't do it.
I don't even talk to AI as much as you think. I think you think I talk to AI as much.
No, 100%. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying you do this all the time, but I am saying something that you said a few weeks ago. I was like, whoa, that kind of sounds like a prompt. And then I was like, wait, are other people doing this? And then I started noticing it elsewhere.
I think this is
I'm not saying
reverse AI psychosis, where the same way if you use AI too much, like you start thinking it's like
AI
the dream is everything is perfect if you use AI. It's like now you're trying to map communication onto, oh, this must be AI generated.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's AI generated. I'm saying it's the opposite. And we'll talk about AI generated next because that's another beef that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But this is different. This is because the language that you are authentically, I'm not saying you, this is the royal you. Now I'm not saying you.
Well, you were saying me before.
I am saying that you said something and I was like, oh, that kind of bothered me and I wasn't sure why. And it was so minor that it wasn't even worth bringing up. Obviously now I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's so minor, it's not worth bringing up to the person, but let's air out our dirty laundry
I didn't.
to our millions of listeners.
Right,
Kayla.
our millions of listeners. But I didn't like, it wasn't a big deal. But I was like, oh, why am I kind of reacting in a weird way that I wasn't
Okay,
expecting?
but my point being, now, all right, we'll get through this personal and then we can move to the royal we. But my point being is like, maybe I was actually just a dick then. Like,
sure, maybe that's just your personality.
Maybe I shouldn't have talked to you in the way that I hypothetically did talk to you. Not doubting that it happened. I'd love to see it, but not doubting that it happened. But I don't think that's because of AI. Like, we all just, if AI didn't exist, it wasn't like I never have sent a short message to you before.
No, 100%.
I think we're ready to blame AI for things that, like, I do agree some are definitely AI driven, but I also think there's just this fervor of like, it must be AI that stole my Diet Coke in the fridge. Like,
yes.
No, that was Craig.
To be clear, you certainly have been an asshole in the past, and it was just your personality. It's totally fine. I have been an asshole in the past as well.
All right.
But what I'm saying is there was something. It was so minor that I don't even remember. But you asked, so I'm telling you.
I know. I appreciate you telling me.
It was something so minor, and then I was like, "Why is this bothering me? I don't understand." It was like, let's use the bullet point ask. It was like, instead of being like, I don't remember, but it was something that it was such a like minor turn of phrase that I was like, this is stupid. It shouldn't bother me. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, started noticing it elsewhere. I was like, why is this bothering me?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if it's because this is how you would prompt Claude. Mm-hmm. And then I started noticing it more in people that I specifically know use AI. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, why is this happening with these people and not with these people? And my theory is not that they're thinking I'm Claude, not that they're expecting me to spit shit out in 30 seconds like Claude would, but because the way that they're communicating more with Claude is to be direct, is to skip the formalities, is to write specifically. Imagine you're a marketing analyst who is struggling with how to promote the podcast, whatever. Like, because the royal you is preparing a certain form of language often. It is natural to lean on that practice when you are interacting with other people.
Totally.
Not AI.
Yeah, I don't doubt that the way that you get used to communicating or receiving communications shapes then how you subsequently will communicate with others. Like, I think that's just a known fact. I just don't think, like, if you weighted how much I'm talking to humans versus how much I'm talking to AI, it's like 99.9
for
to
sure.
0.1. I do think there are people out there who do develop straight up AI psychosis. Like, all they're doing is talking to Claude. I don't think I fall into that category.
I don't think you do either.
But I guess it's already impacting me. I guess it's turning
ignore what I said. It wasn't you. It was truly 3 words that started me thinking.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very interesting point.
And another thing, so there's a few things that this reminds me of. First is, I don't know if you remember this, but there was this concern when like voice bots, like an Alexa or like an Echo or whatever they're called, like the Google Homes came out, that people were being direct and rude to the Alexa, and that was going to impact how they interact with other humans. Like, I mean, this was like years and years ago now, but I remember being like, you know, seeing these videos of like why we're teaching our toddler to be kind to Alexa, or like why we're asking Alexa please and thank you in front of our kids.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
It's modeling how to interact with others, even though it's clearly not a person. You're saying, hey Alexa, play this, you know, play this Spotify album, you piece of shit. Like Alexa doesn't care, but if you say that to somebody else, they're going to care.
Yeah.
So I noticed, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this. It's something I noticed. It's something I could see becoming a bigger issue. And it is something that now I am maybe hypersensitive to, but it's something that I am noticing more in the workplace.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's a very good observation. I apologize for being rude to you in Slack.
So minor.
And no, it is a really great point, sincerely. And there's something too about us transitioning from like a written word society versus like oral communication and like short form video. And they've done research around that too. Like the more video you consume that's not written, but you're ingesting it via your ears, you then change the way you talk because those are the inputs. And so you model then your output on that. Even when you go to type, you type as if it was like you're talking to someone. And so the way we use technology 100% shapes how we communicate with that technology and with each other. So I do think it'll probably continue, sadly.
I think so.
There's a plus to it, which I do think to get the most out of AI, you do have to be clear, give context, tell it how you like it to be formatted. I think those are all good things. But to your point, to get the most out of AI, you don't have to say, hey, what's up? How was your weekend?
Right.
You don't need to do that. You can just be straight to the point. You start doing that to humans and you come off as a huge dick.
Yeah, and I think, you know, another study that came out, look at me dropping studies.
Okay, studies.
Penn State University study last year found that when you're very rude to AI models, you actually get slightly more accurate responses versus being very polite. And it's like a 4 percentage point swing in accuracy.
Yeah, they're scared now. They're like, oh shit, he's not playing around.
Yeah, no. So it's like, it's literally like if you're very rude to an AI or very direct, you get better responses.
Yeah.
And so, of course, if you are practicing being very rude, it is a possibility that you won't code switch back 100% when talking to humans.
Yeah.
And I think even if not every single person who's prompting AI is prompting them enough to have this cemented as part of their like lexicon and how they're interacting with other humans, I think it is something that is worth keeping an eye on.
Totally.
And it is something that is starting to frustrate me.
I love it. I guess the tactic is just like still be thoughtful when you're talking to humans.
Just
humans
remember,
still care.
yeah.
Remember, it's a human. I do love that. Can I tell you something that's pissing me off on the other side then?
Sure.
Not the talking to you like your AI, but getting AI thrown at you.
Thank you so much.
Which I know is...
That's point number 2.
I was looking at your flowchart before. It's point number 2. But can I tell you why I think it bothers me? Because I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
I think something broke where an old heuristic, an old proxy for showing you care about something no longer exists in the age of AI, and we haven't adjusted. And that is the length of something. In a pre-AI world, if you sent me a 10-page document about like, Kyle, I think we need to change the strategy of this podcast.
Yeah.
And I spent all weekend writing this document and it's 10 pages, I'd be like, holy shit, I have to read that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember college getting to 10 pages.
That's hard.
That took like 4 Red Bulls, 12 cigarettes, 2 all-nighters. Like, you got to be locked in to get 10 pages. I'm going to read that. Now, if someone sends me, hey, we need to change our podcast strategy and it's 10 pages, Lord knows what that means.
Yeah.
You're going to see a whole lot of M dashes.
It's going to be so much stuff.
It's just, so, it's AI. You know, you read it, you're like, and so I don't know if you care. I'm not saying that you don't care because you did that, but I have no proof that you care anymore. So length as a proxy for I'm taking this serious and I care just evaporated overnight.
Yep.
But we haven't updated that mental model. Now I'm like, in order for you to care, it almost needs to be shorter. Like it needs to be like there's that famous quote like complex or like long is easy but short is better.
That was not a famous
Einstein
quote.
said that word for word.
No, I think it was if I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter.
I knew the smart one would remember it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that now is more true than ever. And so now length is slop. And it used to be the opposite.
Right. And when I see length, I'm like, well, I'm not doing it. Or now I haven't done this, but if I see length, if I see a 15-page document, I'm like, you created this in 35 minutes. I'm going to copy and paste this into AI and be like, give me the 3 bullet points.
Now,
and we'll be right back after this. Okay, back to the show.
But here's the one caveat. If I do see length and I click in and I know the person did it, because there's signs of humanity in it, it's like not formatted correctly, lowercase letters, typos, then I do take it seriously. I just think we will respond with the same level of care to a thing that it took to create the thing.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, if you are going to create something with no care, I'm going to treat it as such, and I'm going to respond with no care.
Right.
That whole dynamic we need to figure out.
And it erodes the relationship that you have with that person because you're like, oh, you don't care about this enough. You just prompted this.
And then it's like, well, why do I want to work on it if you don't care about it?
Right.
Because it is clear. So like, I don't care about it then.
I 100%. So I think the 2 main things that AI, well, there's 3.
That felt good, I have to say.
That was good. Yeah.
Felt good. It felt good to get off my chest.
I'm glad. The 3 main things that I think AI is doing to change how we communicate with other humans is first, what we just talked about, which is when people speak to me like I'm the chatbot, prompting me. Second is
when Kyle talks to Kaila like she's a chatbot.
Again, it was one time.
It happens all the time.
It was one time, maybe twice. And second is when people speak like they're the chatbot because they are copying and pasting AI into a human-to-human interaction. And I think the issue there, as you mentioned, is it can indicate a lack of effort and a lack of care about whatever it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
And it, to me, erodes the trust that somebody has with their colleague when they are giving me slop that I know took 30 seconds to 5 minutes max. And that's one of the reasons I think that AI for communication gets such a bad rap.
Totally.
Because the only AI identified communications that I'm receiving, I don't know how many people are using AI to talk to me. What I do know is when I can identify it immediately, that it's bad. And therefore, I have associated AI-led communication or AI at all being involved in the communication process as being bad. But there's no other side. Like, I'm not seeing a really good strategy doc that is injected with care and feels very, authentic and feels very strategic and intentional. I'm not being like, well, this was AI, even if that person did use AI.
Yeah.
So
I
my
agree.
only associations with AI communication is that it is garbage.
Because those are the ones you notice and that affect
Exactly.
you. I totally agree.
And so when it's that obvious that somebody is using AI with me, it really does erode the relationship that I have with them.
Yeah, I think there is this like antibody defense that we all have when we're faced with things that are obviously AI, and I think they piss us off for all the reasons we've shared. I don't know if you saw the Brian Chesky tweet. He recently tweeted about like on-chain ownership. I don't know that stuff. Anytime I see on-chain, I'm
He's
tuning out.
He's the CEO of Coinbase.
No,
CEO of Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Sorry.
Anyway, it was clearly copy and paste Claude, which is like coming. He's a designer by trade. He's like all about taste. He had to delete the tweet.
Yeah, of course.
Like everyone on Twitter, even people that love Brian Chesky, founder mode, blah, 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 we're like, brother, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that there is this like antibody defense of like, don't come at me with this slop. Cause like, how could you say you care when you clearly don't? Right. So I think, truly, as someone who uses AI in their day-to-day work, I think it is incumbent upon you, if you want to drive the results and the impact you want to see, for the message to land well to the people you need to work with and inspire. And I'm just telling you, like, that ain't it. So, like, you need to change your strategy if you want to be effective, because sending AI slop around, as great as it might feel, everyone knows.
Right.
And no one likes it. And you're not going to have the impact I think you want to have. And so change your strategy.
Exactly. And it really doesn't require a ton of effort to, like, give something a second pass.
Well, I think the point... It doesn't, but it also does.
Yeah.
Like, I think my point is like, the thing that takes effort is care. So like if you're like, well, if AI lets you not care or not do any effort, it's like, but then you don't.
You don't care. Yeah.
The effort is the point of it all, and so again, I think I will respond with equal effort that someone else puts into something.
Yeah.
And AI just feels like a sign that you're not putting any effort in, so why should I?
Obviously identified AI feels like a sign. Exactly.
Obvious. Yeah. If you use AI to draft, brainstorm, paste it in, then you're going through, you're adding your own notes, like then totally you've spent a lot of time on it, and I totally respect that. I think the output of that is actually ends up being better than just a human because you're using technology appropriately, but yeah, totally agree.
So there was this tweet that blew up, or X post that blew up, or whatever, from Alex Cohen on Twitter. And basically it's a slide that he had given to his company that said, we're done with AI work slop. No more slop. And one of the things that it said in these bullets that I thought was really enlightening to me was AI is cheap to create and expensive to consume.
Banger.
And so
I bet Claude wrote that. That's a banger.
But to me, it feels like
AI is not expensive. It's sorry.
It's like it's putting the onus on the other person, and that's another element of caring, right? Like you're not doing the work, you're like they're going to figure it out. And so I think like when AI work slop is everywhere, it's just eroding the relationships that you have with everybody. It's eroding the work that you're doing, and it's putting the actual effort and the strategic thinking on others. And if you're a leader in charge of strategic thinking and you're outsourcing that strategic thinking to your directs or to your directs, like that, you're not doing your job.
That's right.
At that point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is obviously something that is quite annoying to me. But there's one other thing I want to talk about before we move on.
Okay.
Tip-offs that you sound like AI.
Kaila, you're right to bring this up in conversation. You're right to push back. That's one.
This is 100%. The real corn pop on TikTok. I found this TikTok a few weeks ago, and it had me dying laughing. Calls it, quote, intense corporate speak mixed with slam poetry style smirking. And I have never heard anything more accurate. Like when it's like speaking like this, and it's everything has to be punchy and have
they're very short, punchy
sentences, and every sentence is like, got it. And it's like a weird little like, it's corporations, but it's also like, but I've got personality. And I saw in the comments, first of all, comments hilarious. If you can find that tweet, maybe or the TikTok, maybe we'll link it in the show notes. The comments are so funny, and it's like mentioning all of the tip-offs that it's AI, and so I want to mention them. He calls them Ron Weasleyisms. Not me, not Hermione, you.
Oh.
And it's it's not X, it's X.
Yeah.
There was one that I saw. It's not the fat that was the point. It's the salad that was accompanying it. And you're like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Quietly change the game.
Ooh.
It's wholesale. Wholesale's another one that I've seen. This is the sharper read. This is the part that people miss. And devastatingly, one that I was really starting to use because I think it's hilarious is load bearing.
Wow.
Load bearing is so funny to incorporate in day to day, and I can't use it anymore because AI. This is a load bearing take. Like I was using load bearing tweets for months before AI took it.
AI got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Well, this is the other way that AI will change language is now people will stop doing things they would naturally do because they don't want to be accused of generating AI slop. To me, it's the M dash. I swear we got to have a society-wide funeral for the M dash. That thing just got taken out.
I know.
Imagine you're an M dash one day and then all of a sudden AI comes along and it's like, hey, we're going to put you everywhere and humans are going to revolt you. The M dash did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't think we as a society have recognized that.
I know. And
White House has been silent on the M dash. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So this is point number 3.
Okay.
This is the third way that AI is changing the way that we speak, and it's to avoid sounding like AI.
I know, and I love M dashes.
I love M dashes.
And using them incorrectly all the time. I've never used one right in my life.
I used them like they were commas. I love them. I love them. I was throwing 3 or 4 in a sentence before AI. And it is really devastating. And it's the other way. It's like we're now changing how we're truly writing to make it sound like it's not AI. And we talked about this at the beginning of the year, where one of our predictions for how 2026 was going to go at work was that we're going to start inserting errors
Yes.
into our
that
work.
was the great. Kayla had the greatest call of 2026.
Thank you very much. So typos are now an indication of effort instead of an indication of a lack of effort.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing the same thing where we're changing the way that we speak. We're changing the way that we interact with people in order to sound like not AI. And I can never say quietly again. Devastating. I do have an anecdote
Okay.
that is recent
Let's wrap it up with this anecdote.
Sure. So, if this 20 minutes has not indicated to you, I am not somebody who uses AI in my communication. I do test it out every so often to try and use it for other ways to be more efficient, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But I really, really, really do not use it in communication. I recently stepped in for the Morning Brew Daily show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very nervous about this. This is only my second time being a guest host. And it's a huge show. There's a ton of people. People like sound off in the comments if they don't like you. So I spent you have to do it the day of. It's the daily show. It's what's going on in the news. So the night before we had decided what news stories we were going to do. And I was like writing out what I was going to say and I was practicing it. So I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. I was doing tons of research. In the morning, you're there at 4:45. I'm like going through my script, reading it, making sure that I don't miss any points. And then I do it and I'm like really proud of myself. I'm like, I didn't feel like I was reading directly, but I was referring to my notes. I had practiced so much. And the comments on the episode were like, is Kaila AI? Is this AI? Kaila sounds like an AI agent. And it was genuinely devastating.
And to come at you with that claim.
At me.
That's killer.
It's tough.
That's
and
brutal.
It's because I had practiced so much to sound like rehearsed.
Yeah.
But what actually comes across as authentic is not rehearsed.
Yeah.
And so now, if I do this again, if I go for them again, I can't script it out.
This is very interesting that like being authentically human is almost will change too based on the machines around us, which I suppose has always happened. But that is hilarious. And for the record, you crushed it.
Thanks.
So I want the people to know that is true. Well, Kaila, I think this was a devastatingly good episode, and it quietly changed the podcast game. So should we go to our load-bearing credits?
I think we should.
Our producer is Michaela Heck.
Our technical director is Nina Miller.
Brittany DeTaco is our sound engineer.
And our president is Devin Emery.
This show is a production of Morning Brew.
Thanks for listening, and we'll be chatbots with you later.
We're humans, y'all.